You're listening to WTJU Charlottesville. For arts this week, we chatted with Ivan Orr from Ebony Groove. You can see Ebony Groove at the Soul of Cville event on August 17th at Ix Park. I asked Orr about his Charlottesville-based group.
So Ebony Groove is a band that's been around since the old days, 1987. We actually started in high school. So the original members of the group were myself, Chris Redd, who plays keyboards, Jay Turner, who initially had started as the trumpet player, but more of a hype man singer these days, Raymond Brooks on drums. Then we have a bunch of percussionists, Curtis Kinney, who plays timbales and rototoms, Kyle Reeves, who plays blocks, tamarines, cowbells, and then Larry Johnson, who is on congas. So that's the group that was kind of like the high school group. And then we augment our performances with some great musicians. Some are local, some are from Richmond. So, matter of fact, we have one member that's so dedicated, he comes down from Pittsburgh. So that's Ian Gordon. He plays trumpet. We all grew up together. We went to high school together. And so he played with us in the early days, some as well. And then we have Tucker Rogers, who plays all around town as a guitarist. Vic Brown, who plays around on bass. He plays with Chickenhead Blues Band and a couple other outfits. And then we have two singers that come up from Richmond, Xavier Shannon and Daphne Brown on vocals. So it's a big group, about 11 of us, I believe, when we all get together. So we started our career as a go-go band, which is, music that is quite popular in the D.C. area, the actual DMV. And it is a music that is based on a heavy emphasis on percussion, nonstop sets, basically. So we'll play for an hour straight or whatever. Typically these days, most go-go bands are cover bands. So we'll take whatever is popular or a classic song and put it into that rhythmic sense that go-go has. In the older days, a lot of the bands would create their own original material, and hopefully we'll get to that one day. That would be fun. But it is music that is to be enjoyed live. It is definitely party music. In the group, I get to play saxophone and do double duty as the MC, director of all the chaos. And so I enjoy when we play instrumentals. We'll play sometimes some jazz standards in the go-go realm. So that's always fun to be able to do that and to kind of stretch out and put a little bit of the musicianship on display. Not everyone in the band is a very active working musician, but quite a few of us are, and quite a few of us were music majors when we were in college. So to be able to show that part is a lot of fun. So when we do things like Harlem Nocturne, or we'll do Mr. Magic, which is actually really the basis for go-go music. So Mr. Magic, the version by Grover Washington Jr., which is probably the most famous version, and I think it might have been the first recorded version. Anyway, the drum pattern in that song is what the main go-go rhythm from the drum kit is built upon that. And so it's always good to pay homage to the beginnings of the music by playing that song. So stuff like that. And then we'll do stuff like play stuff that's not expected from the genre. So we've done covers of things like In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins. We've done Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears. So, it's like anything, we can make it fit in the genre. But our main criteria is, does it speak to us and will we enjoy playing it? So, that's always good stuff. Most products or organizations, they're always trying to solve a problem. And so the problem that we had when we were in high school was our athletic teams, primarily the basketball team. Football team, the marching band was there. So most of us were in marching band. We would play every halftime and play in the stands a little bit. But the basketball team was doing really well. And I was actually a member of the basketball team until my senior year. So this band thing kind of moved me out of athletics. But the basketball team, we were pretty sure they were going to be pretty good that year. And the coach had a desire to have a pep band. It wasn't really anything our band director was interested in doing, which is fine. He's got enough to deal with marching band and everything else. So a couple of us said, what if we put together a pep band? And so that's how the band started. We went to the coach. They had some trust in us. Again, he was the coach, Kenny Leatherwood, who recently wrapped up being principal at Charlesville High for the second time. He was my U.S. history teacher in 11th grade, and he was my basketball coach. And so we just pitched him the idea of us playing, and I guess there was enough trust there. And so we started, and we played every home basketball game. That was my senior year of high school, so we didn't really have designs on continuing to go, but gigs just kept coming to us, and there was an interest, and then we played from there. And then we played from 1987 to about 1997, and folks started having families and life commitments, and people had moved away. And so we didn't play again for about 20 years. I was living in Richmond for about 15 years, and so that's how we met folks like Xavier and Daphne, because I played in bands with them in Richmond, and then moved back to town. And in the intervening 20 years, it never went a week without someone saying, "Hey, when y'all gonna get the band back together?" And da 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 da. So we had a reunion show in 2018, and we've been playing together ever since.
What was it like to get everyone back together for the reunion show?
Yeah, that was kind of a bittersweet story. And the reason I say bittersweet is because there was a good friend of mine. He was just a good guy, a great supporter of music around town. He was a sound man, Terry Martin, who worked at the Outback Lodge for years, ran front of house at Fridays After 5 for years. Well, this time when I moved back to Charlottesville, he was doing a lot over at X Park. And so the way we linked back together was I had just gotten back into town, and unfortunately, we lost the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, and everybody was kind of scrambling around doing Aretha tributes. And so he reached out, and I played with a tribute band. And through that process, he was telling me about his ideas around doing more things at X Park, booking more diverse music, so forth and so on. I said, well, the guys in the band, because we had worked with him way back when we were still playing. And I was like, yeah, the guys in the band, people are talking about doing a reunion. Oh, what? And so he helped to put that show together. We did it on Black Friday of 2018. I mean, it was basically like a sold-out show. I think it was like 350 people in that small space. Great success. And then we made plans to do much more. But unfortunately, Terry passed away unexpectedly in the summer of 2021. So that, anytime you have a loss like that, it takes the winds out of the sail. But we've been fortunate enough that his legacy was opening doors to us for things like Fridays After 5 we've done for like the last 3 or 4 summers. And so it's just great to be able to continue even after a loss like that. But I always try to keep in the forefront, if we're not having fun, there's no reason to do this, because it's not like it's our sole means of income. But even with that, it still needs to be fun.
Tell me a little bit more about the event you're playing at X Park this weekend.
So this will be our first time playing the Soul of Cville Fest. We were contacted by the organizers of the event, which was a nice surprise. I've been in attendance, but I'd never played. This year, they added another component. It is paired with the Best in Black Cville Awards. And so there's an award show going on at Live Arts that Friday night, and then the actual show. We're headlining. We will be hitting the stage at 7 p.m., but there's all kinds of entertainment throughout the course of the day. Folks singing, rapping. There's a couple of dance groups. There's going to be a fashion show. And then, of course, there will be breaks where you have DJs. And then it'll just be an opportunity for folks to be in that space. There's vendors, see other members of your community, network. And then from what I understand, unlike this week, I believe the weather next week is supposed to be quite nice. So that'll be good. And I mean, it's kind of like we're getting to that part of the summer where it's not so much summer anymore. We're going back to work, going back to school for people who have schedules like that. So it'll be a good wind down wrap up of summer. One of the dance groups, D&D, I work in my day job. I work at Burley Middle School. And so I believe a few of my students are going to be with that dance troupe. So it's always great for me to see our students in the roles that they have and the things that they like to do outside of school. And so I'm really looking forward to that. I'm a big proponent of encouraging budding artists because I had people do that for me. When we play here at home, it's really cool because it's almost like the experiences that we had in high school, although we're far from that now. But I think that there's a little extra, I like to call it, I wouldn't say like special sauce, but it's a little extra something because of how we began. And so a lot of students who went to Charlottesville High School in the late 80s, early 90s, they have a lot of ownership in the band because they remember us playing at these basketball games. And matter of fact, my senior year, the basketball team was quite good. And so this little ragtag band of high school kids, we got to play at University Hall. That was like a big deal. It was like, oh my gosh, we're playing in this big place. And so that kind of feeling and spirit permeates when we do shows here, because we're fortunate enough to still have so many friends that will come and see us and they remember that time. We definitely want to promote the Soul of Cville Fest. It's free. So, it's definitely one of those kinds of things. You don't want to argue ticket prices when they're so good. But yeah, you want to come on down to X Park. X Park is a family-friendly park. There's artwork to check out, and with the vendors, there'll be food trucks and other things. I'm sure some things for kids. Lots of great music, fashion. I'm sure there's going to be other things surrounding culture there. Again, Ebony Groove hits the stage at 7 o'clock, and we're looking forward to putting on just an hour of action-packed, nonstop, feel-good music that will be right in line with this time of year.
You can support Ebony Groove at X Park on August 17th. The Soul of Cville event starts at 3 p.m. and is free for all. Ebony Groove goes on at 7. Arts This Week is brought to you with support from the Piedmont Virginia Community College. PVCC Arts presents a rich array of dance, music, theater, and visual arts programming. Learn more at pvcc.edu. You're listening to WTJU.